Madison Square Garden, the Mecca, the epicenter of basketball in the United States of America. The greatest in the history of the sport have paced these sidelines, dashed across this court, and echoed throughout these speakers. All have dazzled nearly 20,000 fans each time they take the floor. From Michael Jordan to Mike Krzyzewski, Phil Jackson to Michael Jackson, legends of the game have made a name for themselves on this very hardwood. Tonight, we patiently await the chance to observe two seasoned coaches do battle on the grandest stage in basketball. St. John's head coach Rick Pitino is a titan in the world of college hoops. Having taken 3 different schools to the Final Four and winning 2 national titles, he now looks to bring the Red Storm back to their golden era of yesteryear. Michigan fans are all too familiar with Coach Rick Pitino, having lost in the 2013 national championship game to Pitino's Louisville squad. That national title was later vacated following an NCAA investigation which cost Pitino his job. Following a stint at Iowa, Pitino has fought his way back to high major basketball here in New York City at St. John's. The Wolverines entered this season with expectations lower than they had been since the Big Ten expanded to 14 teams, with the Maize and Blue being picked to finish 11th in the conference. But this squad has wowed to open the 23-24 campaign. Michigan has begun the season with dominant victories over mid-major opponents, and they now have their sights set on a big win on a national stage. Despite the departure of their top 3 scorers from last season, Coach Phil Martelli has this team rolling while Juwan Howard continues to recover from his offseason heart surgery. Michigan looks revitalized from last season, playing with a joy that we have not seen since prior years. Michigan has been fueled by the Tennessee transfer, Olivier Kamwa, and sophomores Doug McDaniel and Terrace Reed Jr. Tonight, we find out how real this hot start is for Michigan and how far along Coach Rick Pitino's rebuild is at St. John's. Rick Pitino brought in 10 transfers this offseason, including bringing 2 players from Iona with him. I now welcome in my partner for the first half of tonight's broadcast, KG Foley. My name is Kelin Flynn, and we are live from Madison Square Garden. KG, it feels good to say that.
It feels good. What an amazing thing to be able to say, and how lucky we are to sit up here to watch 2 teams really looking to make their mark this season as they transition and find new identities. And it's no secret that Rick Pitino being here tonight is a great storyline to watch. I cannot wait to see how it plays out here. Both of these teams are fresh and new. As Kelin said, St. John's with 10 transfers, only 2 returners, 2 freshmen. Michigan themselves looking to work out a new identity after losing some big names, Kobe Buffkin, Jet Howard, Hunter Dickinson. And there's been a really strong start from both of these teams. We've seen Michigan pretty dominant offensively. They are currently shooting 55% at the field goal, 40% of the three-point line, and they've been dominant at the board, grabbing rebounds. 76% of the rebounds have been claimed by them. They're looking hot. They are looking good. Today is a test, not only for their skill, but also for their ability to rise to pressure. It's no secret that being in the Garden is definitely going to take a toll on the mentality of all players on the court. I really, really hope that Michigan rises to the occasion, takes the energy, and runs with it. You know, they have played here at Madison Square Garden before. They currently hold a 25-11 record at the Garden, winning their last 10 games here. They are definitely looking to keep that record going. The last time they were here was back in February of 2020, where they had a win over Rutgers, 69-63, and they are back here tonight facing St. John's University, the Red Storm. St. John's does have the home court advantage here tonight, being in New York. The Garden is looking pretty red, but there's definitely some Michigan fans here. We are here. We are excited. We are ready to bring you this game. Kelin, what are you looking forward to seeing tonight on the court from the Wolverines?
Well, obviously, for Michigan, it's their first test.
Right.
How does this group, this new group from last season, you touched on it, KG, no Hunter Dickinson, no Jet Howard, no Kobe Buffkin. Those are your top 3 scorers from last year, and we've talked about it coming in ahead of the broadcast, how different this team has looked. The ball flows much more freely. You're not feeling like you need to force it into Hunter Dickinson every possession.
Yes.
They're shooting it better.
Last season.
It's a very exciting time. There's a lot of mystery with this team.
Yes, and I think mystery opens doors for players to step up. Like you said, we're missing three of our biggest point players for this team. Hunter Dickinson averaged 18.5 points last season. Kobe Buffkin with 14.7, Jett Howard with 13.9 points per game. Those are big numbers you're losing, but we've seen players really stepping up. Let's talk about Will Cheddar. He had a perfect game just the last week against Youngstown's State. That was such a joy to watch. He definitely has a new confidence on the court. He put up 20 points, and he was 100% from field goals made, and he was 4 for 4 way downtown. He had the energy, he had the focus, and I think we're going to really see him rise this season as well.
Starters for Michigan. It's what we've seen throughout the season. Doug McDaniel, Namari Burnett, the Alabama transfer, Terrence Williams the second in at the 3, Kamwa at the 4, and Reed at the 5. Tip-off is won by Terrace Reed for Michigan, and we are underway. Jordan Dingle, Danish Jenkins, Ledlum are 3 of the starters. Soriano and Taylor Jr. round out the starting 5. And it's Namari Burnett from the corner getting things started for Michigan with a quick triple. Here comes the Red Storm now. St. John's looking to combat the early 3 from Michigan.
That was Namari Burnett. He is a transfer for Michigan this season, coming from Alabama.
Shot from the wing, no good. And that's going to be out of bounds off of Michigan. Danish Jenkins ripped the corner triple, and it didn't fall.
Really high energy here already in the Garden. The crowd is here, and the student section is right in the faces of both teams.
St. John's student section is split up on both ends of the court. Jenkins to inbound. Finds Jordan Dingle, Ivy League Player of the Year last season, at the top of the key. Swings it over to Taylor Jr. Step back, just inside the three-point line, and that is good. Foot on the line, going to be counted as a 2, but a nice step-back jumper from Taylor, one of a handful of transfers on this team. Kamwa with it on the wing. Finds Williams the second at the top of the key. Over to McDaniel. McDaniel's pass inside to Kamwa is tipped away by Ledlum and stolen. Into the lane, and it's up and good. Danish Jenkins.
Michigan's really going to want to look to shut down those transition points and not let St. John's get away from them too quickly.
Here's Doug McDaniel, top of the key. Guarded by Jenkins, receives a screen from Reed into the lane, and it's blocked away. St. John's going back up the floor now. 4-3, Red Storm on top. Into the corner, that's a 3 from Dingle. It's good.
We're going to see a lot of three-point shooting from the St. John's team. Rick Pitino is known for his three-point game. He really capitalized on it early on in his coaching career and found ways to make that a strength for the team.
Dingle, the second leading scorer in the country last season, pours one in from distance early. 7-3, Red Storm on top. McDaniel to Burnett. Burnett, nice crossover on Dingle into the lane. Floats it up off the backboard and in. Namari Burnett with a nice move. He's got 5 for Michigan.
Burnett is a 5-star prospect and a great addition to this Michigan team this year.
Burnett from Alabama by way of Texas Tech, in for a grad transfer season. Dingle over to Ledlum. He shoots a 3 from the wing, won't go. Rebound to Williams the second. Up the floor, Reed down the lane, up and over, and he draws a foul on Ledlum. So Terrace Reed will head to the charity stripe for a pair. Reed really struggled from the free throw line last season for Michigan and has continued to have some free throw woes to start this season.
He did put up 50% at the line last season. Not exactly his strength, but we did see that he is a physical and athletic player. He pulls in those fouls, so if he can learn how to be a little stronger at the line and bring in those free points, it'll really up his game.
Reed's first shot from the stripe, long off back iron. Terrace Reed Jr. shot it at a 40% clip last season from the free throw line. Something that he's really going to have to improve on this season to be a true difference maker for this team.
He talked about this and talked about transitioning from high school to college and the effect it's had on his mindset and his confidence, and really working to, play the way that he knows that he can and make those shots that he knows that he can.
Second free throw is good from Reed. 7-6, St. John's on top. That pass tipped up by Reed. A jump ball in the paint for McDaniel and Glenn Taylor. And they're going to rule it's off McDaniel. It'll stay with St. John's. Sixth all-time meeting between these two programs. St. John's leads the series 4-1 as that inbounds pass is stolen by Terrace Reed. It's been over 2 decades since these teams last faced off. Burnett down the lane, reverse layup is good. Michigan retakes the lead 8-7. Namari Burnett with 7 of 8 early for the Wolverines. Ludlam's pass is poked away. McDaniel has it, and Michigan forces another turnover. Burnett on the wing, enters into Terrace Reed. Reed going to work down low. Reed continues to fight, and he shuffled the puppies. That's a travel.
We see, Reed being aggressive down below in the paint, trying to make things happen. Sometimes he pulls the foul, and sometimes it doesn't work.
And so now St. John's has it. Trying to make something happen. Ledlum got it. Chris Ledlum pours in a triple, and St. John's retakes the lead.
Chris Ledlum is the Harvard transfer for St. John's, who was an Ivy All-League selection last year.
McDaniel harassed at the top of the key. Finds Williams the second. They enter in to Kamwa. Back out. Burnett, a three. He's been red hot. How about it? Namari Burnett is firing on all cylinders early for Michigan. He has 10 in the first 5 minutes of play.
It's what we're going to expect to see from Namari Burnett this season, making up for some of those lost points that we will not see from 3 players who have left our team this season.
Dingle, he'll line up a three, and he's got it. Three-point shooting's been hot on both sides early, KG, and Dingle puts in his second triple of the contest.
We're going to see a lot of three-point shooting tonight. Like I said before, that is Coach Rick Pitino's,
Kamwa double, baseline, Burnett, two-hand flush. How about it? Namari Burnett is on fire at the Garden. And now here comes St. John's into the lane. Tough little hook shot there from Jenkins. Soriano the rebound. Fighting through contact. Second chance points.
Back and forth from both teams here. They are hot, they are feisty, and this looks like it's going to be a really fun game here tonight in the Garden.
Absolutely. Doug McDaniel, screen from Kamwa. Tries to get it to Williams the second. He does. Into Kamwa now, guarded by Ledlum. Kamwa off the dribble, trying to fight through contact, and it won't go. Offensive rebound, corralled by Kamwa. And he tries to thread it into the corner to Burnett. Taken away by Jenkins. He'll spot up a three in transition. Won't go. Another one from Jenkins. That time is good.
St. John's is really heating up here. Michigan's going to want to try and slow that down as they have this home court advantage and this energy right behind them here in the Garden.
Danish Jenkins pours another one in. Reed, top of the key. Burnett comes off a handoff. Down low to Reed. Passes poked away. Taken by the Red Storm. Here comes Dingle. Down the lane. Kick out. Ledlum. Taylor a triple. Won't go. Good rebound from Reed. Flips it to McDaniel. Michigan in transition. Burnett. Quick trigger three. Why not for Namari Burnett?
Burnett putting up insane points really early on here. Loving the energy from him, loving the presence that he is bringing to this team. He might just be what the Wolverines need.
Namari Burnett, after a puzzling game in the Wolverines' last contest, is absolutely scorching early. Dingle, deep three, won't go. Rebound goes to Kamwa, and Kamwa will take it up the floor for Michigan. How about Namari Burnett early? 15 points. Reed spins on Ledlum. Off the glass, gets it to drop. This has been a back and forth contest early. Neither team can miss. Michigan has not missed from three, 77% from the field. And we're tied 18 apiece. Under 13 to go in the first half from Madison Square Garden. You're tuned into WCBN Sports live coverage of Michigan men's basketball. Taylor into Soriano. Soriano finds a cutting Dingle. Dingle's pinned off the backboard by Terrace Reed. Up the floor, Williams the second. He'll throw it down with two hands, and Michigan gets out in transition for an easy bucket.
Seeing some great rebounding from Terrace Reed. He averaged around 4 rebounds a game last season. He's really a power force under the net, getting both offensive and defensive rebounds.
Bad pass results in a turnover there. Jenkins can't hold on to it. And so we have our first substitutions of the game, and we'll hit immediate timeout. Michigan at the first break in the action on top, 20-18. KG. It has been a scorching performance from Namari Burnett. In 7 minutes of play, he's 6 of 6 from the field, 15 points, 3 of 3 from beyond the arc, and that last shot was a heat check. He was at NBA range, just let it fly and got it to go. I mean, outside of Burnett, it's been 2 from Williams, the second on that last dunk, and Terrace Reed had a layup and a free throw.
I mean, Michigan is hot. They were on a 7-0 run the last minute and a half there. They are finding those shots. They feel confident enough to take them. There's been some good movement. I think we could definitely see a little bit more. But, you know, some of these players have showed up tonight, ready to shoot, ready to find the net, and it's feeling good. It's feeling great here.
And KG, now for St. John's, we've seen these transfers making a big impact early. Jordan Dingle did not play in St. John's first 2 exhibition matches this season, then came off the bench in their first game of the season. Now gets the starting nod today, coming back from an injury, and he has really looked the part early. 6 points, 2 of 4 from beyond the arc, has paced St. John's in scoring.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise that he wasn't playing those first 2 games. He was expected to be on that starting lineup. It's good he's back on the court here tonight. We now kind of see why he's a starting lineup player, one of the strong transfers for the St. John's team. He's bringing a lot of shooting energy, one of the many players on the court that is finding the net consistently. This could be a really high-scoring game here tonight, as it's been for both of these teams, both of them averaging upwards of 90 points per game in their opening season. I think that we're going to see a lot of that tonight, and the three-point line is no team is fearing the three-point line tonight. They are ready to take those shots, and it's going to be really exciting to see if they can stay consistent with it, if the energy is maintained throughout this game, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
St. John's took down Stony Brook 90-74 in their only contest of the season. That was back on the 7th. And Rick Pitino, we know he likes the long ball. He likes for his teams to shoot threes in bunches, and that's been very evident early. St. John's 4 of 10 from beyond the arc. Michigan with just 10 field goal attempts, only 3 coming from distance.
Rick Pitino, I mean, he is a coach with rich history. He has been in all types of competition, all types of arena, and he is known for this three-point shooting game. He started to exploit it when it was introduced to the NCAA back in 1987, and his Kentucky team in the 90s was known as Pintos Bombinos because they were three-point shooters. So as he looks to transition this St. John's team into a winning team from here to March, he's really going to be working on strengthening all of his players' three-point shooting.
Coach Pitino obviously won that national title in 2013 against Michigan with Louisville, and then another title in the 90s with Kentucky. He's taken 3 different programs to the Final Four: Kentucky, Louisville, and Providence back in the 80s. Trey Jackson and Will Cheddar are in for Michigan. McDaniel harassed up top by Danish Jenkins, and he just has it taken away. And an uncharacteristic turnover from Doug McDaniel, the sophomore point guard for Michigan. He's been really solid to start the season for the Wolverines. Namari Burnett picks up a foul on the loose ball, and St. John's will inbound from the sideline.
We see Will Cheddar on the court. I was talking a little bit before about the really strong performance he had against Youngstown State. He is looking to make a name for himself on this team, as he was not a big scorer last year, but has proven that he can be.
Now here's St. John's, a couple of substitutions. Sean Conway on the floor, as well as Naheem Aline. Ledlum, kick out to Conway. Little floater, and it's good off the window.
St. John's is shooting 47% right now.
Conway, a VMI transfer, puts it in. Pressure up the floor from St. John's, and kick out, McDaniel. He lines up a 3, short. McDaniel has it off the miss. Kamwa on the wing into Cheddar. Cheddar is doubled, triple teamed. Trey Jackson down low, easy layup for the Seton Hall transfer.
Great look from Will Cheddar there as he pulled in 3 defenders and found his open man under the net.
22-20, Wolverines on top. Naheem Aline finds Jenkins. Jenkins kick out, Conway, triple, won't go. Burnett grabs the board and will push for Michigan. Up the floor, that pass is tipped away and stolen by St. John's. Jenkins, little stop and go. Pull-up jumper from Aline. Can't get it to fall, and rebound is corralled by Conway as he crashes into the baseline out of bounds. Michigan will take over.
Lamar Burnett is leading the Michigan scoring right now with 15 points of all the players on the court. He is ahead by quite a bit. I'm looking to see maybe that ball be moved around a little bit better, some better shots from some of our other players. What are you looking to see?
I think if you're Michigan, you just have to continue to feed the hot hand at this point. Burnett hasn't missed a shot, so you've got to be looking to get him a chance each time down the floor, get him a touch, force St. John's to play him aggressively and see what you can create for the rest of the team. Really interestingly, on that last possession, St. John's brought a triple team on Will Cheddar on the low block. I'm curious if Coach Pitino's trying to put Cheddar under some pressure. He scored 20 points, perfect from the field, 8 of 8 on field goals and 4 of 4 from beyond the arc. So interesting strategy from Pitino early to see. We'll see if that continues, but
seems a little bit like a mental move of we're going to shut you down quick. We're not going to let you get hot here. We're not going to let you get that hand up.
That and trying to force him to make a tough pass, to make a decision.
Right.
They're going to try to put pressure on Cheddar early, it looks like, but we've seen them double a couple of times in the post, which Michigan's very familiar to seeing last season. It felt like every time Hunter Dickinson caught the ball in the low block that a double or triple team was coming his way. But Michigan just struggled to space the floor properly and knock down those outside shots.
Jordan Dingle is leading St. John's with 6 points right now. He is the transfer that we were talking about who was missing from the lineup the last couple of games. And leading for rebounds for St. John's is Joel Soriano with 2 rebounds, and Olivier Combois leading in rebounds for Michigan with 2 himself. Seeing a little bit of a fight for rebounds underneath. This is definitely going to be a rebound-heavy game as shots keep flying up. Looking for some aggression under the paint from the Wolverines. They've been really strong with rebounding so far this season, claiming around 76% of all rebounds the last 2 games. Rebounding is going to be really important, especially if they're taking these shots and not making them, keeping it in possession, keeping it on side of their paint, and keeping chances alive for them to keep going. As we are here in the Garden for a matchup between St. John's University and the Michigan Wolverines as they face off for the 6th time. They currently hold a 1-4 record, the Wolverines on the losing end of that. Looking to maybe sway that in their favor here today. The last time these two teams faced each other was quite a while ago, 23 years ago, in the B&BT Classic on December 3rd in 2000 at the MCI Center in Washington, D.C. The Wolverines fell to St. John's Red Storm there, 97-83, and St. John's was paced to 27 points by Anthony Glover and Amar Cook. So a lot of history here, but these two teams haven't faced off in a while. Exciting for them to be here in the Garden today, for the Wolverines to be in the Garden, and really feeding off of this energy from the St. John's fan base as they have really made a presence here in this pretty red Michigan, less so. But they're here and we're here, excited to keep bringing you coverage of this game.
WCBN Sports, live coverage, Michigan men's basketball, live from the Garden. My name's Kelin Flynn, KG Foley, my partner for the first half. Michigan with a couple of subs. George Washington III has entered the contest. William Gregory, Alex Miller, and I, William and Alex, are on the second half. Got a chance to stop by the Met yesterday. Got to see the famous painting of George Washington crossing the Delaware. We'll see if GW3 was...
Maybe that's a foreshadowing moment.
We'll see if he's feeling presidential today. Kamwa receives the inbound, has it poked away from behind. It'll stay with Michigan. 10:52 left in the first half. Michigan on top, 22-20. We might have a good one brewing from the Garden. McDaniel to inbound for Michigan, finds Kamwa. McDaniel catches it, full head of steam up the floor. Over to GW3, into the corner. Cheddar, triple, won't go.
First shot there from Will Cheddar, no good.
Rebound goes to Wilcher. Wilcher has it, guarded by McDaniel. Conway, top of the key, guarded by George Washington III. Conway, kick out. Ledlum. There's a whistle. We're awaiting the call. Looks like that's going to be on Michigan. Will Cheddar, they're going to get him for a push. And that's the second team foul on the Wolverines.
St. John's with only one foul here so far in the first half.
Nice inbound play. Ledlum had a bunny and smoked the layup. Great look at the basket off the inbound.
Conway there with the important rebound to bring it back to Wolverines.
McDaniel inside. Fouled on the way up. He'll head to the line for two.
A quiet game here from Doug McDaniel. Hasn't put up any points so far this game. What are you looking to see from him a little more as this game progresses?
Well, McDaniel's been facilitating so far early. A couple of assists, but St. John's has really tried to apply some pressure early, forced a couple of turnovers from Doug, and he's just going to look to settle things down here. Good way to do that is at the line. First shot from McDaniel is up and down. Doug McDaniel last season for Michigan, one of the better free throw shooters on the team as a freshman, shot it from about a 77% clip.
Doug McDaniel's only a sophomore and moved into that starting lineup position last year when Jalen Llewellyn had an injury.
And Llewellyn still recovering from that ACL tear he suffered in London against Kentucky. Michigan applying some pressure at three-quarter court. Ledlum down the lane, has it poked away. And it'll go to the Wolverines. They're just going to say Ledlum lost control. And there's a quick turnover from St. John's.
We just saw the Wolverines there trying to put a little more pressure early on the offense to slow down those transition points from St. John's.
Drissa Traore will check in for Coach Patino. And something we saw in the blowout win from St. John's early this year is that they struggled with turning the ball over, protecting the basketball. 5 more turnovers than Stony Brook in that opening contest. McDaniel with it at midcourt. Finds Trey Jackson. Jackson, top of the key. Back to McDaniel, inside to Kamwa. Kamwa is doubled. Conway tried to rip it away. It'll stay with Michigan. 8 on the shot clock for the Wolverines. As Terrence Williams II will hit the scorer's table, he's in for Kamwa.
Kamwa taking a step out. He put up 21 points against Youngstown State last game, and he also had a perfect game himself, 7 for 7 from field goals and 1 for 1 at the three-point line.
McDaniel inbounds to the freshman George Washington. Cheddar puts up a three, won't go. Had a couple of seconds left on the shot clock, but elected to rip a top of the key triple. In transition, pull-up jumper, that's good from Naeem Aline. Aline's taken a couple of those shots. First one that he gets to fall. 1 for 2 from the field now. McDaniel, couple of screens. Trying to go to work into the lane. Tough floater, and he draws another whistle. So Doug McDaniel will head back to the charity stripe for 2 more. Michigan on top, 24-22. Just over 9 minutes to go in this first half.
Not a bad place for Doug McDaniel to be. He's really showing us his ability as a very agile player. He has great dribbling skills. He is speedy. He is quick. And if he can pull in those fouls and make those throws at the line, that's really a great place for him to be right now.
McDaniel with excellent quickness heads back to the free throw line. First shot is up and pure from number 0. Michigan wearing their navy blue jerseys today with the maize lettering, maize logo. St. John's in their whites, the home whites for the Red Storm, red lettering and black accents. Danish Jenkins will take it up the floor for St. John's. Ejiofor in its center. Has it at the top of the key. Conway back to Jenkins. Jenkins thought about a triple. Gonna step back and shoot an NBA range 3. Why not?
Why not? Jenkins is one of the players that followed Coach Patino from Iona last year, and so he is familiar with that three-point mentality.
Nearly a 16-point-per-game scorer at Iona last season. T. Will goes baseline, corner triple. Won't go for George Washington III.
Michigan getting a little colder at that three-point line, now shooting around 42%.
Jenkins works on Trey Jackson. Jackson's length, able to tip that pass. Good hands from the Seton Hall transfer. Terrence Williams a triple, won't go. Here comes St. John's in transition. Another pull-up three. That time it won't go from Aline.
A lot of quick back and forths here.
It's been a very back and forth contest. 3 subs at the table for St. John's. I believe that's as McDaniel hits a step back mid-range jumper. Big shot from Doug for Michigan. I believe that's Burnett at the scorer's table for the Wolverines as Terrace Reed Jr. heads over there as well. Jenkins, he's been hot. These guards for St. John's have been awesome today. Aline working into the lane on Shetter. Tough shot, won't go. Rebound, edge of 4, and it's a jump ball in the air.
Great defensive combo down there. Will Cheddar had his hands up, using his height to his advantage and keeping the players out of the paint, putting up tough shots, and the Wolverines are there for that fight for the rebound. It's what you like to see.
KG, it does not get much better than this. 28-25. It has been excellent offense on both sides of the floor. Some really solid shot making from both Michigan and St. John's. These guards for St. John's have been fantastic. Michigan, Doug McDaniel getting going in this last couple minute stretch. 4 free throws and a smooth step back jumper from the far side wing has Michigan up 3. We're at the under 8 media timeout now, and KG, so far in this contest, what's most impressed you from St. John's?
From St. John's, their transitions. They have been really powerful at getting the ball back to their side quickly and finding those shots before the Wolverines have time to settle. I've been really impressed with their ability to also make these shots in that transition with that speed from even way downtown at the three-point line. It's been the reason that they are right behind Michigan, who has also been shooting really, really well. So I'm really impressed with the ability that they have to transition so successfully. Transitions are a big, big part of, keeping momentum going, keeping that energy up. And if you can, get going before the Wolverines can get back to settle down into their defense, you'll get them most times.
Half-court contest for a St. John's student. His third attempt is up and no good. This has been a fun one, and we got to, like I mentioned earlier, Alex, William, and I got a chance to explore the city a little bit, hit some of the museums that this great town has to offer. Started off at the Met, got to do some exploring there. And
where'd you go next?
Then we went to the Natural History Museum. That was a fun time as well. Got to see Lucy.
Oh.
I believe it's the earliest human
remnants?
Not human remnants. It's pre-human, technically. My Anthropology 201 class is failing me right now, but it was cool to get to see some of the stuff they had to offer. Alex Miller got a chance to see the meteorite that's named after him.
Miller on Miller.
Miller got to take a peek at the Miller meteorite.
You've also, done one of the scarier things, which is tackle the LIRR.
That's true. That's true. Not without help from a local. But yeah, Owen Crane is definitely thrilled that we were able to take a trip on the Long Island Railroad. WCBN Sports is
we're on the move.
We're on the move, and we don't discriminate in terms of modes of transportation.
Absolutely not. We will get to the games by train, plane, automobile, foot.
William Gregory took a car back and forth to Happy Valley, took a plane to New York, and has been taking a train from Long Island back and forth to the city. He's been all over the place this weekend.
We are dedicated to bringing you guys live free coverage as we get back started.
Soriano has it, kick out to Jenkins. He's guarded by Burnett, who's back in the game for Michigan. Jenkins into the lane, and he's too strong off the glass. Ledlum, kick out. Taylor thought about it. Into the lane, tough shot, got it to go, and one. Glenn Taylor Jr., the Oregon State transfer, finishes through some contact in the lane. Great up fake to get Trey Jackson in the air, and finishes through some contact from Reed and Jackson on the closeout.
Glenn Taylor averaged 11.6 points per game in his season last year at Oregon State as he looks to bring his height and talent to the St. John's team.
Taylor, a junior, one of 10 transfers brought in this offseason.
I'm impressed with the fluidity of this team, considering how many transfers and how much newness there is on the court.
They've looked smooth. Both the and one free throw drops for Taylor. And 10 transfers coming in is not easy to do. Obviously, some of them with experience playing together at Iona, but under Coach Pitino, but that's a lot to handle. Michigan brought in 3 transfers this offseason that are all seeing heavy minutes. Burnett, guarded by Jenkins, looking to create something. Spin into the lane, tough shot, draws a whistle, and Burnett continues his fiery start to the contest. He'll head to the line looking to tack 2 on to his already 15 spot.
That was some great dribbling and movement from Burnett we saw there, bringing in that foul. He had a spin move right at the end there, and he gets 2 points here at the line.
Nabari Burnett at the stripe now for the Wolverines. 78% free throw shooter at Alabama last season. And his first shot goes. Michigan breaks the tie. 29-28, just under 7 to go here in the first half.
Michigan shooting 6 for 7 at the free throw line here tonight.
Burnett sets himself. Smooth release. Ping pongs out. Michigan with a 1-point lead now. Burnett splits him at the line. He'll pick up Jenkins right at midcourt. Terrence Williams on him off the switch. Dingle now into the game. Ledlum down the lane, and it won't drop. Soriano offensive board and one. The Red Storm getting inside after a flurry of outside shots to start the contest. Back-to-back and ones. Soriano draws the contact and finishes.
They are raising the heat under the paint here as it starts to be a little bit of a fight to get those points up, and Michigan has to be careful with their fouling because these and ones are going to start to creep up on them as this is a really close game. St. John's now leading by 1 point with 6 minutes and 39 seconds left here in the first half. That'll be Joel Soriano at the line. He is 4 points shy of 1,000 career points.
And one is no good. Ledlum hauls in the board. Was an excellent rebounder at Harvard last season. Soriano, short corner jumper won't go, and Terrace Reed tips the rebound out of bounds. Stays with St. John's. 30-29. Johnny's on top. 6:30 to go.
Unfortunate mistake there as Michigan needs to get this ball out of St. John's territory.
Ledlum into the lane. And another whistle. Ledlum will head to the back to the free throw line. And St. John's just attacking the paint. Michigan has no answers but the foul.
That will be the 5th team foul for the Wolverines as they put another St. John's player at the line in a really critical point in the game when there's only a 1-point difference between these two teams. You do not want to be giving away free points like this right now.
And Ledlum has made his mark on this game very present. 3 rebounds, 2 of them coming on the offensive glass. Just under 12 rebounds a game last season. Excuse me, 8.5 rebounds a game last season at Harvard. Splits them at the line. 31-29, Wolverines down 2. Doug McDaniel picked up by Danis Jenkins.
Wolverines really looking for something here right now.
Reed, top of the key, guarded by Soriano. Burnett comes off the handoff. He'll step back for 3. Namari Burnett cannot miss. He bangs that one home from beyond the arc. Number 4 in the maize and blue tonight is on fire. He has 19 points and has not missed from the field. Pass cannot find Soriano.
What an electric three from Burnett when we needed it the most for Michigan to pull ahead by 1 point here with 5 minutes and 48 seconds left in the first half. They really want to enter the second half on a high. You know, don't want to let St. John's pull ahead with this home court advantage in this exciting environment here at Madison Square Garden.
We hit another media timeout. This has been a back and forth contest, but cannot say enough good things about what Namari Burnett has done for the Wolverines. 19 points, 7 of 7 from the field, 4 of 4 from 3. The Alabama transfer is scorching here at the Garden. I mean, at the top of the broadcast, I talked about how there have been so many historically significant explosions that happen here at the Garden. I mean, talk about Cardiac Kemba at the college level in the Big East tournament a number of years ago. All of the greats, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Stephen Curry, one of his kind of welcome to that upper echelon of NBA players moments was here at Madison Square Garden against the Knicks. And
yeah, I mean, Madison Square Garden is the place to be. It's the environment to be in. And if you as a player can rise to that energy and rise to that heat in a positive way, it'll really solidify the kind of game that you can play, the kind of clutch moments that you can have. And Burnett is showing tonight that he is ready to rise to that.
And KG, I'm honestly impressed at the amount of red you see here at the Garden. I know St. John's is New York's team, but there's a lot of Michigan alums in the New York area. And St. John's has really shown out so far in this first half. Doug McDaniel again picked up full court by Danish Jenkins.
We've been seeing a lot of that full court defense from both teams here tonight.
McDaniel looking for an open man, floats it up top for Reed. He eventually corrals it. Triple team comes, kick out. Doug for 3, won't go. Rebound goes right back to McDaniel. Terrence Williams, the second corner triple, can't get it. And that loose ball is tipped off of Glenn Taylor Jr. It'll stay with Michigan. On the floor for the Wolverines, Doug McDaniel, Namari Burnett, Terrence Williams the second, Olivier Kamwa, and Terrace Reed Jr., the starting 5 for Martelli's squad.
That was a nice no-look pass from Doug McDaniel there to kick it out to the three-point line. Unfortunately, couldn't find the net.
Ledlum, Jenkins, Taylor, Dingle, and Soriano. T-Will into the lane, working on Taylor. Goes to work, draws contact, floats it up, won't go. Terrace Reed fighting for the offensive rebound, and he's got it. And
Terrace Reed kept his hands on that. He fought for that one.
Will reset. McDaniel into the lane, won't go. Rebound by Ledlum. St. John's coming down the floor. Ledlum has it poked away. Burnett with it. On the fast break, Namari Burnett lays it up, and he can't get it to go. McDaniel on the follow, got it.
McDaniel right there to support Burnett, and they were able to put those 2 points up on that quick transition move.
34-31, Michigan on top. Offensive rebound in transition for Doug McDaniel. Results in a 2-point follow. Dingle, kick out. Ledlum, pump fakes into the lane, poked away by Kamwa. Soriano gets on the floor for it. Dingle, elbow jumper, won't go. Terrace Reed Jr. boards and feeds it up the floor to Namari Burnett. Burnett, nice dribble move there, holds on to it. Kick out. Kamwa, top of the key, triple, got it to go! Olivier Kamwa extends the Michigan lead to 6.
That started with a great rebound from Terrace Reed. He has 4 rebounds here tonight, and he got that ball back down to the Wolverine side for that beautiful 3-point play.
5th triple of the game for Michigan. They've shot it well from beyond the arc, 41%. Soriano, a strong two-handed jam from the big fella.
There was a lot of passion in that dunk.
3:30 to go, Michigan on top by 4, 37-33. This has been a treat to watch so far. McDaniel into the lane, kick out. T-Will, he'll try a 3. Won't go. Burnett offensive rebound, kick out. Kamwa, pump fake, spin into the lane. Fade away, tough shot, won't go. Up the floor, Dingle Two-handed stuff.
St. John's caught the Wolverines there on a slow transition, and they were able to capitalize on it and put on a nasty dunk.
Burnett going to work, guarded by Dingle. Kamwa into the lane. Lost the handle, and it'll stay with the Wolverines. This has been back and forth all game. Under 4, media timeout. That'll be the last break in the action before the end of the first half. 2:44 to go. Michigan up to 37-35. This is everything we could have hoped for.
This is all we wanted.
From the Garden. Michigan and St. John's doing battle in a good one in the best way possible. Both of these teams have looked really solid early on. Excellent offense, competitive play up and down the floor, great shot making. This has been a lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely, and I think the effectiveness of watching such fun offense is that both teams have also brought really powerful defense. I really like the full court play that's being shown from both teams. You know, they're really trying to slow down those transitions and make sure that teams don't get away from them. It happened there just a second ago where the Wolverines were not ready, and St. John's took advantage of it, got that transition, and put up that dunk. And I don't think you want St. John's continuing to put up dunks with the power of this crowd behind them. You don't want them getting that energy and that momentum going. So, you know, I think the Wolverines are probably going to look to try and slow down some of that drive from transitions and, you know, keep this game under their control as they lead with 2 minutes and 44 seconds left here, only by 2 points though. This is very close, this is very tight. Both teams shooting a lot from the three, averaging around 38% on both sides, and the St. John's team is 43% from the field goal, and Michigan shooting 46%. Both of these teams finding the net, finding those shots, and just looking ways to keep that defense up, and again, like I said, slow down those transitions and keep it settled and keep it under their control. Looking at the Michigan stats, we have Burnett with 19 points. He is shooting 7 for 7 and 4 from 4 from way downtown. He is hot. He is not missing. He is who the Wolverines are going to be looking to for the rest of this game. I think he's established right now that he has got a heavy hand and he is feeling good about putting up those shots. Doug McDaniel is behind him with 8 points, 2 for 7 from the paint, and he is 4 for 4 from the free throw line. He has been pulling in those fouls. We see that agility he has as one of the smaller players on the team, but he's a great dribbler. He's a great point guard, and if he can pull in those fouls and then be really strong at the free throw line, right now those points are going to be critical since this is just a 2-point game at the moment. And then we have Olivier Kamwa. He has also been a really powerful presence on the court tonight with 4 rebounds, and Terrace Reed Jr. with 5 rebounds himself. Those rebounds are going to be critical. Like I said, with these close games, you want to keep that ball in possession. You want to, stop any secondary chances on the defensive side, and on the offensive side, you want to give your guys the best chance they can to clean up the shot they may have missed. And if we look at the St. John's stats, their stats are a little more spread out. We have Dingle with 8 points. He is 3 for 7. Jenkins is 3 for 7, and he also has 8 points. Soriano, who just had a really beautiful dunk there right before this media timeout, he has put up 6 points tonight. He is 3 for 4 for the field goals. He hasn't tried to put up any 3 points here tonight, but Soriano is also their leading rebounder. We've seen him be pretty aggressive in the paint here tonight. We are looking in this as we get back after this media timeout to see how this first half ends.
1,000 career points after that dunk from Joel Soriano, and it was an emphatic two-handed flush.
What a great way to put up that 1,000 career points with a beautiful two-handed flush dunk.
On the floor for Michigan, Burnett will inbound. Kamwa, Cheddar, Doug McDaniel, and Terrence Williams II. Ledlum, Soriano, Taylor, Cruz Davis getting his first run, and Aline. Burnett, pull-up jumper, bangs it home. Namari Burnett is unbelievably hot in this first half. 21 points, has led all scorers, and that's 29 as a team for Michigan. Ledlum, pump fake in the corner, pull-up J won't go. Here's Doug McDaniel for Michigan. McDaniel receives a screen from Kamwa. Kick out, Williams II. And it will be reset to Doug, top of the key. 14 on the shot clock, 2 minutes on the game clock in this first half. McDaniel probing, trying to find somewhere to go with it. Kamwa now top of the key. He'll size up Ledlum. Olivier Kamwa from 3, and he bangs it home.
That is the first 3 put up by Kamwa, and it is good to put Michigan ahead 42-35 here.
Michigan on fire from beyond the arc, as Soriano will take a mid-range jump shot, and he fills it. Both teams continue to make shots at a high level. Doug McDaniel into the lane. His shot, that's too easy for 0. Too quick around the corner, baseline layup goes.
10 points now for McDaniel.
After a slow start, he has really turned it on. Cruz Davis won't go. And there's a whistle on the rebound. Loose ball foul, believe that's on Cheddar. And that's Cheddar's second. Cheddar last season did not play a lot to start the year. And then later in the season, Coach Howard decided to make a change, give him some more minutes, and he really improved and was a spark plug for this team at times. Now in a more consistent role off the bench for the Wolverines as a junior.
He talked about his off-season was just learning how to take those shots that he knows he can make.
Soriano draws contact from Kamwa, and he'll head to the line for 2. Under a minute to play here at Madison Square Garden. Michigan on top, 44-37. Joel Soriano at the line for a pair now.
This is the 7th team foul for the Wolverines.
Soriano missed his first free throw attempt following an and 1.
Soriano's put up 8 points tonight, and he has hit his 1,000 career point benchmark, which is really, really exciting, especially here in this arena.
Soriano rims that one out. Terrace Reed checks in for Kamwa. Kamwa also with 2 fouls will take a seat to end the half.
Terrace Reed back on the court. He's been a really big rebounder for the Wolverines tonight, putting up 5 boards.
Traore also into the game for St. John's. Second free throw from Soriano is pure. 6-point ball game, under a minute to go. Burnett hands off to Doug McDaniel, and he will again be picked up about 3/4 court. Cruz Davis on him this time. Doug working past Taylor now into the lane. Kick out. Cheddar pumps, spinning inside. Will Cheddar floats it up, floats it in. Crowd wanted a walk, not going to get the call. Davis. Now over to Taylor on the far side wing. Soriano with it. Cruz Davis. Kick out. Traore working on Cheddar into the lane. Shot won't go. Doug McDaniel boards it. Shot clock turned off for Michigan. 15 seconds to go in the game, or in the half. McDaniel up to Williams, the second easy layup in transition. Game clock down to 7. Davis working on Cheddar. 3, 2, gonna hoist up a triple. Won't go. An excellent first half of basketball for Michigan in their first game against a high major opponent. Wolverines on top, 48-38. In KG, it was all Namari Burnett in that first half.
Yes.
8 for 9 from the field, 4 of 4 from 3. I mean, this guy just could not miss.
He couldn't miss, and thank goodness, because he was really putting up big points for us. 21 points of the Wolverines, 48 have come from this transfer. What an exciting addition to this team. He is putting up the points that we need, and it has been a really great display of his dominance on the court tonight and the confidence he has. I cannot wait to see how that progresses, and he is backed by Doug McDaniel. The two of them have had some great chemistry on the court so far tonight. Doug McDaniel has been a really powerful point guard, very quick, moving around the court, getting people open. We've seen that from him tonight, and he's put up 4 assists, 4 rebounds himself. It's really exciting. I'm excited to see how this duo develops over the course of the season. You know, this is a really big new addition. Like you said, this is a new Wolverine team. They're figuring out their identity, and I think we're starting to see glimpses of it tonight, and it seems like it's a pretty dominant one.
This is about as good of half as you could have hoped for if you're a Michigan Wolverine fan. The team shoots it at a tremendous clip from the free throw line, from beyond the arc, and from the field. Wolverines shooting it 55% from the field, 6 of 14 from beyond the arc, and 6 of 8 from the line. St. John's, 40% from the field, 36% from 3, 50% from the stripe. 11 offensive rebounds for St. John's. Maybe something that's a little concerning for Michigan, but overall you have to be very pleased if you're Phil Martelli and if you're Juwan Howard watching from home. Soriano leads the way at the half in scoring for St. John's with 9 points. He's 4 of 5 from the field, but left 2 free ones at the free throw line. KG, what has most impressed you from Rick Pitino's squad in this first half of play?
You know, I think from the perspective that this team is filled with transfers, I'm really impressed with the cohesiveness of this team, which has definitely been on display in their transitions. They've capitalized on transition ball movement a lot, and that comes from chemistry, that comes from high energy, that comes from focus, and they've taken advantage of the Wolverines not being able to settle quick enough. So I've been really impressed with the cohesiveness of this team and the fact that they don't feel like they are a jumble of new players led by Soriano. Soriano seems to be a really big presence on the court for the St. John's team. I've also been impressed with their three-point shooting, something we talked about we were expected to see with Coach Pitino at the Realm now. But yeah, I think that having Coach Pitino as your force, as your guiding light, is no joke. And I think that we should really watch out for this team as this season progresses. I mean, Coach Pitino brings so much history, so much experience. He is known for taking teams that are historically not great and making them great. Even here in the Garden, when he took over as coach, he took a Knicks team that had 24 wins, and within 2 years, they had a conference title. So, you know, I think if anyone is going to be able to take a team with transfers and a jumble of different experiences and make them into a winning team, it's going to be Coach Pitino with the St. John's Red Storm. And we've seen that here tonight. They've had some pretty strong three-point shooting themselves, 35%, 50% from the free throw line, definitely something they want to work on. I mean, they were put at the line several times. Michigan put up a lot of team fouls, and Michigan put up a lot of team fouls and put them at the line. Those are 3 points they could have easily gotten. And we're going to hopefully see that the fouling comes a little less from the Wolverines. There was some sloppy play at the end. I don't really think they knew how to handle the heat under the paint since they were used to St. John's shooting a lot of 3 points at the beginning of the game. They started to bring some heat under the net. It started to get a little scrappier, and the fouling increased. But I was really impressed with Will Cheddar's defensive performance tonight. He put up some really great shields and guards under the paint, stopped a few really important shots, and one of the transitions began with him, and he is clean. He hasn't fouled. He's using his height to his advantage. He's finding ways to make him a versatile and critical player for this team as he looks to make his mark coming off of the bench. You know, he had a really hot game last week against Youngstown State. He hasn't been shooting so much tonight, but I think he's looking to find other ways to be a strong presence on the court as Barnett is proving to be the shooter for the team tonight. What do you think that the Wolverines are talking about in the locker room right now, what they're looking to, you know, maybe focus and reel in on as we get back on the court for the second half?
Well, I think you're thrilled with the offensive output from your team if you're Coach Martelli. 48 points in the first half. You love that. It's the defensive side of the ball where I think they're going to want to tighten some things up a little bit. There's just been some good shot making at times from St. John's, but 11 offensive rebounds. You want to clean that up. Michigan has out-rebounded St. John's 20-19 overall, so that's been as tight as it can be. But 11 offensive rebounds is something you want to maybe focus up on a little bit more. And for Michigan, you won the turnover battle. You've been more efficient from the field. There's a reason that you're up that many points. St. John's had 5 steals in the half, but nothing to be too concerned about if you're Michigan. Just got to keep Kamwa out of foul trouble in the second half. That's probably the biggest thing to be worried about.
I agree. I think just, you know, cleaning up the defense, you know, no unnecessary fouls. I mean, there was a possession there on St. John's that lasted way too long because the Michigan Wolverines couldn't just figure out how to get the ball out without fouling. You don't want to foul any of your players out that are really critical right now, and you don't want to give away easy points, especially in a tight competition like this. And we are here in Madison Square Garden in New York. How exciting for both teams, how exciting for the Wolverines. They haven't been here in quite some time, but they do have a winning record here, and I know they definitely want to hold on to that tonight in the face of a away disadvantage. They definitely want to rise to it, and it feels really great to be here, and the energy is great, and we have a really good game in front of us.
Really exciting here from the Garden, as we'll bring on one of our broadcasters for the second half, Alex Miller. Alex Miller is one of our top-notch basketball analysts here at WCBN Sports. Alex, welcome to the broadcast. In that first half, there was a lot going on. You were sitting right next to me to my right, keeping an eye on things. What really stood out to you in that first half of play? We'll start with Michigan.
I mean, they shot the lights out, Burnett in particular, but we know Rick Pitino's going to play fast. He's going to press, but they're going to go out in transition. They're going to shoot the ball. And Michigan played at their pace and did what? I mean, shot the lights out. So exciting. I mean, if you're looking for anything they can do better, hopefully they can settle in a little bit on defense, get a couple more stops, force a couple more turnovers for a team that, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, was pretty turnover prone in their early first game against Stony Brook. But offensively, Michigan, blistering. So it's about as good as I can put it.
Coach Pitino said, and he's doing a series with Fox throughout the year, kind of tracking this St. John's season, doing interviews with John Fanta throughout the year. And on the first episode of this series, he talked about defense and rebounding and how that's going to be key to this team and their success. And he kind of knows that they can score the basketball, but can they play defense? And in that first half, they didn't really play a lot of defense. Michigan scored 48 points. It looked like an exhibition game the way the Wolverines were shooting the ball. What can St. John's do in that second half? And I know part of it was just Michigan making shots. There's only so much you can do about that, but Michigan got a lot of open looks in that first half. Doug McDaniel really did a good job of probing, but the drive-in kicks seemed to really be there for Michigan.
I mean, this is a small St. John's team. Beyond Soriano, there's a couple Ejiofor's 6'9", but not a ton of size, especially in the guys in their rotation. So you're not going to have a lot of paint presence, especially if Soriano ever sits. But really what it is they're putting on so much pressure. They're trying to trap even nearly with full court. McDaniel at least has one guy greet him every time he catches an inbound pass. But overall, perhaps they just need to slow down a little bit. Pitino, that's not his style. But, I mean, as you mentioned, if Michigan's going to shoot the ball like they have been, I mean, Burnett was on fire. But overall, 6 for 14 as a team from three-point range. Pretty darn good. So
it doesn't get much better than this in the half if you're Michigan. And you talked about Coach Pitino's style. He likes to go fast, but Doug McDaniel on a number of occasions.
He's faster.
Exactly. He's just faster than Jenkins or Cruz Davis, and he would just flat out blow by them and get right to the cup at times, or create a numbers advantage for Michigan, in which case St. John's is forced to rotate and Michigan would find the open shot more times than not. What are you looking forward to in this second half from the Wolverines in terms of potential adjustments, or just looking to see what they can keep going?
Hoping they can just keep it going. I mean, I don't know if I expect Burnett to stay as hot as he is, but it'd be awesome if he could just have an absolute game here. I mean, we're in the Garden.
Why not? Anything can happen.
Place where dreams come true, and Burnett's having a day here, but we'd love to see a couple other guys get going offensively. I mean, Terrace Reed's been pretty quiet, only 1 for 2. No one's really done much beyond Burnett, and then McDaniel's put up a couple shots here and there, but we'll see if Terrence Williams can get going. He's shot the ball better than I expected early on this season. Maybe Will Cheddar. Looking forward to this second half. It's going to be good.
That's absolutely right. It's going to be a tremendous second half. And the first half, again, was about as good as it gets. Can't ask for much more. From an entertainment perspective, and for us, I mean, I've never been to Madison Square Garden before. This is my first time in
Me as well.
The most famous arena in the world, and it has absolutely lived up to the billing. It's kind of crazy. You're just out in the heart of New York City, and then all of a sudden you enter and you're in a basketball arena. It's cool. There's a lot going on, and it's been a lot of fun in this first half. With that, I'll hand over coverage of the second half to William Gregory. Alex and William will be with you all on WCBN Sports for our second half of coverage. Fellas, good luck on this second half. Alex, take it away.
Thank you, Kelin. You and KG with a wonderful first half. I'm absolutely stoked to get going here in the second half. About 4 minutes left in halftime. Both teams jogging back out to the court right now. As my good friend here, William Gregory, getting situated.
Trying to, at least.
It'll be 48-38 when we return here. Wolverines leading it. William, you were watching the game up here. We're up on the Chase Bridge here, the top of I'd call a cavernous Madison Square Garden. Is there anything you in particular saw or that you want to point out as we are about to get going here in the second?
Well, I know you and I talked about before we both came on here that Rick Pitino teams like to play fast, and Michigan is playing fast with them. I think that the shooting cooled down a bit in the middle of the first half, but then it picked up once again for Michigan. And the shots are just falling. You have a guy scoring over 20 points in the first half in Amari Burnett. 4 of 4 from 3, 8 of 9 from the field overall. Missed a bunny layup and a free throw, but I think that Michigan has just played well in this game. They're shooting well, maybe not having the defense that you'd exactly like, but you're up by 10 after a first half that was competitive. You'd surely take that after only having played some sacrificial lamb, so to speak, in the first few games of the year.
Definitely, this is a good first test here for the Wolverines. But it's going to be a fun one. Absolutely stoked to be here. This is quite an awesome experience. Kelin mentioned it a little bit the first half. We were in the city yesterday, spent the day, went to the Met, went to the Natural History Museum. I'd been before. William and Kelin had a first-time experience in both places. But it's been pretty cool being in the city. Madison Square Garden. There's an aura to this place. Something special.
Oh, yeah. And, well, you know, the Met costs around $20 to go to. The DIA is free for Michigan residents, and I suggest you do that instead of the Met.
No, I love the DIA. It's a nice place we got back home.
It's excellent. I think that some of the donations that the Ford family made, like some Van Gogh paintings and some Monets, may come close to rivaling the Met. The Met's got an expansive collection, but I think the DIA highlights are pretty good, and obviously I'm biased being a resident of the Detroit area, but and I should have been able to see the Met Renaissance paintings, but that area was under construction.
Yeah, that was a little unfortunate.
And then the Natural History Museum, I thought it was cool, but a lot of like copies of stuff that I didn't expect it to be like that. I didn't expect it to be, I don't know.
Were you expecting real dead animals?
No, like real bones and fossils.
Sure.
And, I don't know. I recently went to Michigan's Natural History Museum. I thought that place was awesome. They have a mastodon skull that they're cleaning that you can go and see through the glass how they do that. They have those big two prehistoric relatives or ancestors of whales that kind of swim in the atrium. I think we're lucky at Michigan to have the museums. We do the Kelsey as well, a good archaeology museum right across from Angel Hall. So, New York, I guess, but
New York. So 30 seconds left here before we get back going for the second half. You're just joining us. I'm Alex Miller. Alongside me, William Gregory. Kelin Flynn and KG Foley provided WCBN with an excellent first half. Michigan 48-38. And Amari Burnett, been a flamethrower from deep so far today. 4 for 4 from downtown. Michigan offense has been clicking. Defense going to look to settle in here.
I think it was the second to last three he hit. It was definitely a heat check, taking it in stride with a defender on him. Burnett hits the three. You know, college basketball is fickle in that you have 2 halves instead of 4 quarters, and you never really know what a player is going to play like out of halftime. We'll have to see. Maybe Burnett's first shot goes down, and that'll spell a bit of doom for St. John's in the second half, I would say, as players are liable at Madison Square Garden to put up career performances.
Absolutely. We've seen a lot of guys do it. Jeremy Lin comes to mind for me, but there have been many who've put up a special number here in the Garden. On the St. John's side, offense has come a little bit all around. A couple guards have shot it well as a team. 5 for 14 from the three-point stripe. Joel Soriano has 9 in the center. And here we go. Michigan will have it first. Terrence Williams the second, inbound to Doug McDaniel, and we're underway. McDaniel met out at the logo. Swings it over to Kamwa. Kamwa fakes a handoff to Burnett. Now back to him. Burnett working top of the key. Burnett picks up his dribble. Now McDaniel left side. Guarded by Jenkins. Now has Soriano after the screen. McDaniel step back three from the corner. It's no good. Terrace Reed taps it up. Soriano corrals for St. John's. Here's Taylor Jr. matched up with Namari Burnett. Over to Jenkins. Jenkins going to get a screen from Soriano. Terrace Reed switches on him. Jenkins around the corner. Top of the key for Taylor. One more pass. Pump fake for Dingle, and he's fouled by Burnett on the floor.
Burnett, second foul. A couple Wolverines with 2 fouls in this game, but with him being so hot tonight, he's got to be a bit more careful than that to pick up a foul in that situation.
20 seconds on the shot clock. Taylor Jr. to inbound for St. John's. Into Dingle. Dingle splits a screen. Nice move. Rises. Finishes around Kamwa. No, it bounces off. Kamwa the rebound. Really nice move by Dingle. Couldn't finish it. McDaniel picks up his dribble early. Now Kamwa into the post. Terrace Reed knocked away. Will stay with the Wolverines.
A couple dangerous passes for Michigan. Doesn't end up being a turnover. McDaniel nearly traveled after he picked up his dribble and didn't forcefully pick to pass, and a lob up by Kamwa. Wolverines fortunate to keep possession.
McDaniel to inbound. Terrence Williams the second. Swings it over to Burnett. Burnett fade away from the mid. That's short. Tough shot for Namari Burnett. St. John's up ahead to Taylor Jr. Catches it on the right block. Now trapped. Pass down to Ledlam. Tries to go through. Kamwa, an offensive foul called. And the Boo Birds ring down here in Madison Square Garden.
And to go back to that last shot by Burnett, that was definitely someone who has shot the ball well in this game. But taking an inefficient shot, a moving 2-point shot, and here comes St. John's running the press once again.
Rick Pitino full court press. Jenkins matching up with McDaniel. He's across the timeline. Double screen. Uses Terrace Reeds to his right. McDaniel hesitation. McDaniel right-handed finish off the leg. Nice finish. Doug McDaniel with a 2. McDaniel has done such a nice job. So quick off the dribble. Gets to the rack there for 2. Ledlam over to Taylor Jr. Now Soriano. Handoff. Now Soriano on the post, doubled by McDaniel. He pokes it away, 2-on-1. McDaniel running with Terrence Williams. Flips it to Terrence. Williams the second, leaves it for the trailing. Terrace Reed for 3. That one's off. Don't see Terrace Reed Jr. attempt a lot of three-pointers.
That was a really interesting sequence of events, kind of telling of this Michigan team, a microcosm, so to speak. Doug McDaniel makes a nice play to poke the ball free, and then doesn't really finish it in transition. Passes away to Terrence Williams II, who chooses not to make an assertive play at the rim. Instead, posts up his defender in a move that, you know, Wolverines fans might shake their head at. Passes back to a trailing Terrace Reed, who, again, like you said, shoots a 3. So head scratcher for Michigan on that possession.
Kamwa picked up a 3rd foul on the rebounding sequence. Trey Jackson in for him. St. John's, Taylor in the corner, working on Terrence Williams into the lane. Flips it over. Mid-range is good there for Jordan Dingle. Doug McDaniel down the left side behind the back. He's double-teamed, keeps it in bounds to Terrace Williams II. Settles to Burnett. Trey Jackson has it in the right corner. Jackson now working in the post. Fade away off one leg. Comes up short. Going the other way is Jenkins. Jenkins trying to work on Burnett. Nice spin move, but that one's off. And out of bounds off Trey Jackson's knee.
And the Wolverines have let a few second chance points for the Johnnies. They've let them up, really. Offensive rebounds they've allowed. Turnovers on rebounds they could gather. St. John's isn't shooting it that well, but they keep getting bonus possessions due to the Wolverines' mistakes.
Drissa Traore checks in for Chris Ledlam for St. John's. 50-40 Michigan. 17-18 on the game clock. Oof, off the inbound. Jenkins lost it off his foot. So Michigan will go the other way, facing the full court press from St. John's. Terrence Williams to inbound. Here's Trey Jackson. Jackson will get it to Doug McDaniel. McDaniel double, flips it over to Jackson across the timeline. Open in the corners, Burnett, Namari Burnett. Oh, toilet bowl's out for the triple. Terrace Reed Jr. on the follow. Terrace Reed using his size to his advantage there. Second chance points for Michigan.
Burnett looks like he still has a shot, though, even though it rimmed out.
That shot looked good. Open look. 52-40. Taylor Jr. gets a screen from Traore. Trey Jackson switches on him over to Dingle. Dingle working on a Soriano screen. Pass to Soriano. Top of the key. Taylor on a Soriano's handoff. Has it going left. Kick out Traore will try a triple off the back iron. Soriano corrals. It ends up in Taylor's hands. Taylor trying to finish with a contact. No call. Soriano up again. And he gets it and one for Joel Soriano. A lot of chances on the boards for St. John's, and it ends in a chance for a three-point play.
And that's the second and one by Soriano. Like I said, the Wolverines just giving the Johnnies too many chances after their own missed shots. Michigan has to clean up the boards, and it's an area of weakness, you could have said, before the season, given that they don't have a center 7-footer like Hunter Dickinson anymore. Terrace Reed Jr., arguably the tallest player on the team, gets bodied up by a senior in Soriano.
Soriano, 2 years at Fordham. This is now his third at St. John's. Their average is around 15 and 12 last year. Good big man in the center in the Big East here. Terrence Williams, the second, running the baseline, gets it into McDaniel. McDaniel, full head of steam, splits the defense on the right side. Doug McDaniel finishes. Beautiful move in transition. Doug McDaniel, one-man show to the cup. 54-43. Taylor Jr. to screen from Traore. Trey Jackson switches on him. Into Soriano, working on Terrace Reed Jr. The right elbow. Ball's poked free. Doug McDaniel doubles. Triple try there is short for Jenkins, boarded by Terrace Reed Jr.
St. John's just cold from long range.
Doug McDaniel drive to the left side. It's blocked, but a whistle there on Jenkins. Doug McDaniel got downhill to the left side, draw some contact.
And I think we're witnessing Doug McDaniel grow every single game. Obviously, he's a young player, thrust into starting duty after Jalen Llewellyn tore his ACL last season. And that was probably best for his development. Instead of coming off the bench all year, he led Michigan into scenarios like going to Charlotte to play North Carolina, playing Vanderbilt in the NIT. He is experienced now after a full season under his belt. He's got 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists in this game. He can do it on both ends of the floor as well. We saw that poke away steal. He's so fast. He generally makes good decisions. He's a great point guard for Michigan at this stage in his career, and we can only hope to see what he does as his career progresses.
Well, certainly. And he's got the 14 today, even though he's 0 for 3 from long range. And he's really shot the ball well in the 2 opening games this season. But he's getting it other ways. He's so quick, as you mentioned, at getting to the rim. And as a sophomore, he might have a couple more years here in the maize and blue.
And that's been something Michigan, I think, has been missing over the past few years. Losing Xavier Simpson and having to bring in the consecutive graduate transfer point guards. It's something to have a 4-year starter at that position. It's something that I've mentioned, like a school like Michigan State has most years, and there's a reason that they're consistently able to outperform expectations. And I mean, Michigan has done that in the tournament, maybe not in the regular season, which is kind of an indictment on what I'm talking about. having a guy night in, night out that can perform is very important in college basketball. And it seems like Michigan is growing into having it once again with McDaniel.
I'm with you there. McDaniel's steady, and there has been a transfer guard. I mean, Jalen Llewellyn on this roster still recovering from his ACL injury last year. McDaniel, younger player, a lot of upside, and can keep developing in the maize and blue. You're not going to risk losing him to the pros or the NBA as it stands.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a great college player, but the knock on him is he's so small. He's 5'11", 175. You really have to be a lightning in a bottle kind of scorer at that height to succeed in the NCAA, but he's a good college build, given how quick he is. We've seen smaller point guards like Foster Loyer fail in the past at other Big Ten schools, but he's not quite as quick or as athletic as McDaniel is.
McDaniel so hard to stay in front of. We've seen that quite a bit today. 54-43, we're at 15:40 left here in the second half. Media timeout coming to a close in a few moments. Thank you for tuning in to WCBN Sports, student radio coverage. We're here in Madison Square Garden. One of the coolest experiences of my life, I think I must say.
Yeah, I mean, we were fortunate enough, Kelin and I, to broadcast the Legends Classic from Brooklyn last year, and it's always an unforgettable experience to go to New York, and then to end up here at Madison Square Garden is going to be an unforgettable experience for me as well.
A lot of moments and memories in these halls for a lot of different people. (54-43), Michigan leading it. Jenkins will shoot, McDaniel will shoot two after the foul by Jenkins. First one is down for Doug McDaniel. Michigan moves to 7 for 9 from the charity stripe today. That was something they struggled a little bit the past couple years. McDaniel rattles the second home. Here comes St. John's. It's Jenkins on the right wing. Tries to get it to Taylor Jr. He corrals it. He's got Terrace Reed on him. Crosses over toward the lane. Blocked away. Terrace Reed Jr. patrolling the paint for the Wolverines.
Good play by Reed. A quicker offensive player on him on the perimeter. Reed stays with him and blocks the shot. And one thing that confuses me a little, having a big guy like Soriano for St. John's, they don't run a lot of pick and roll. And I think matching up against a more inexperienced center like Reed, you could get away with doing something like that on offense, given that they're down to 37% from the field right now.
Reed certainly moves his feet well, though, for a center at that size. Inbound is in to Taylor Jr. He's working over to Simeon Wilter, who checked in. Wilter driving baseline up with the right hand. Can't finish over Terrace Reed. Doug McDaniel, Terrace Reed, Namari Burnett, Trey Jackson, Terrence Williams the second for the Wolverines. High pick and roll with Terrace Reed Jr. McDaniel crosses over Soriano. Cutter, Trey Jackson, no look pass from McDaniel. Two-handed flush for Trey Jackson. That one was pretty for Michigan.
And that's the kind of special player we can come to expect that Doug McDaniel is.
Great read out of the pick and roll by McDaniel. Nice cut to back door by Trey Jackson. Wilter working. Burnett taken away. Terrace Williams the second jumps that pass. Williams the second spins to the rim. Terrence Williams with the bucket in transition. Timeout called by Rick Pitino. The Michigan lead extends to 17, 60-43. A couple highlight plays there. Terrence Williams the second getting it done as well for Michigan.
Well, I'm glad to see it from T-Will. Maybe last year you expect him to pass it away. Instead, he takes it himself and goes up to the rim. He's got 6 points in this game, and he's not known as a scorer, more of a rebounder and a defensive glue guy. But that steal that he made was nice, taking it himself. We're not going to be mad at that. That's
the aggression you want to see from Terrence Williams II. Plays a lot of minutes on the wing for this team, and he has to be a force offensively, be a threat to put the ball on the hoop. Nice play on both ends there.
And how about Michigan being up 17, 60-43?
8-0 run over the last minute 36 for the Wolverines. Good start to the second half.
And, you know, Michigan came into this game as a 2.5-point underdog. St. John's receiving 45 more votes in the most recent AP poll. You wouldn't expect it to be this lopsided. Michigan shot very well in the first half. It's cooled off a bit. I mean, they're still shooting over 50%, but the three-point percentage is down to 35. It was hovering around 50 for most of the game. St. John's just hasn't been able to put the ball in the bucket. They lost the exhibition against Pace, a community college in Queens, their first game of the season. I did talk to some folks within the St. John's program, and they said that they were faced with injuries in that game, didn't start some of their
Dingle
their
didn't
key
play.
players.
He's a very important guard to this team.
Yep, and then they go and they beat Stony Brook, a Long Island college, their neighbor. And, I mean, I don't really see why this team, other than Patino being there and the transfers, that they would be so high up in the AP poll receiving votes compared to Michigan only having 2 votes. And we've seen how good they've looked in their 2 games against lesser opponents. But obviously Michigan showing that maybe it should be the flip side, beating St. John's by 17, 14, 37 to go in the second half.
Don't want to count our chickens before they hatch. Still some time here in the second half. But Patino back in college basketball with Iona for the last couple years. Was in Greece before that after the fallout of the Louisville scandal. But it's a St. John's team with a lot of new faces. Traore's a returner. Soriano's returning. And that's it.
And Rick Pitino did overhaul this team of transfers, and he's actually been spearheading an NIL effort. He was one of the pioneers of the three-point line at Providence when they broke through with a Final Four in the late 80s. He wants to stay at St. John's. In a recent profile with The Athletic, he said that he hopes this is his last stop in his coaching career. You can never say never, but I think there's an opportunity for Pitino to build something here on Long Island, close to his home. His wife and himself have had an apartment in Manhattan since the late 80s.
There is something special. St. John's gets, I believe they're playing 8 home games here in Madison Square Garden this season. Pitino wanting to increase that.
Only 3 at Carnesecca.
Cutter. Nice backdoor cut there by Conway. Pass hit him right in the hands and went right through. 60-43 Wolverines. Doug McDaniel working against a full court press. Inbound to Namari Burnett. Now McDaniel. 25 on the shot clock. McDaniel tripped. They'll call a foul on Simeon Wilcher. Pitino out to half court in disbelief.
Foul number 3 on Wilcher, the consensus top 30 recruit, one of the top freshmen that Pitino brought in this season.
Wilcher was a 4-star and initially committed to UNC before decommitting for Pitino's Red Storm. He'll check out. Burnett to inbound. Now McDaniel has it. Jenkins goes for a poke. Terrence Williams II gets his screens for him, as does Terrace Reed. McDaniel lob to Terrace Reed. Reed up in the air to corral it. Layup won't go. Boarded by Joel Soriano. To the right wing is Jenkins. Danis Jenkins gets it to an open man. Triple is short for Ledlum. Soriano the putback. And he'll get an and one.
And he has been a big bright spot for St. John's. The reigning Big East most improved player, an all Big East player last season as well. One of the few holdouts on this team. Soriano, 3rd chance for an and one. He missed the first free throw that he took on a sequence like that and then made the last one. Has a chance for a 3-point play the hard-nosed way here.
60-45 as Soriano gets ready to put the free throw up. It's good. 46 to Michigan 60. 14-point game. Will Cheddar in the ball game for the Wolverines. Terrence Williams inbounds it to him, now gets it back over to McDaniel. McDaniel gets across half court, working against Jenkins. On the left wing, going to get a double screen once again. Doesn't use it. McDaniel goes left into the corner. Burnett, pump fake, wide open now. Fires the triple. Rattles out. Williams the second, the rebound. Now Doug McDaniel gets it. Back to Terrence Williams from the corner. It's good. Terrence Williams the second. Triples for Michigan. Conway the other way. Now Jenkins swings it over. Conway loses it again. Jenkins working on Terrace Reed. Pull up from the elbow is short. Loose ball. Going to go off. Chris Ledlam was battling with Terrence Williams. Michigan has it.
And I want to go back to Doug McDaniel. You talked about he got those two screens, the double screen. Just chose to blow by on the left side baseline, and that created a skip pass opportunity to get the ball to Damari Burnett in the corner, who was wide open, took a dribble, step aside, let the defender fly by, took a three, and it was his first missed three of the game. But Michigan working to get the offensive rebound, works it back to Terrence Williams in the opposite corner. 6 assists of the game for McDaniel. That was a really, really good sequence by him overall. Yeah. Registering great passes, great moves, veteran savvy. As much as this has been a scoring burst from Burnett, McDaniel is the MVP for Michigan so far tonight.
I agree with you. That was such a good counter by McDaniel. He just worked off the exact same double screen, same spot, same two screeners, and just didn't use them, went left, fooled everyone, and created a chance for Michigan. 63-46, 13:09 here left in the second. I'm Alex Miller. Alongside me, William Gregory for WCBN Sports in Madison Square Garden. Rick Pitino only has one timeout remaining after this one. Terrence Williams will be inbounding for Michigan. Olivier Kamwa in for Terrace Reed Jr. Terrence Williams going to burn a timeout on the Michigan side. That was odd. It didn't really seem like he waited the full 5 seconds to see if he could get the ball in, but
interesting. I mean, the St. John's trap has been effective along with their press, but they just haven't forced a turnover out of it, really. But I think they've done well to pressure Michigan on the offensive side. I just think that Michigan has done a good job getting out of it.
Yeah.
Williams makes a smart play by calling the timeout if he thinks nothing's there, and avoids a turnover that could be something that catalyzes a St. John's run.
Certainly.
To get back into this game.
And this St. John's team has been doing everything Rick Pitino's made his career out of. Pressing, playing fast, and then to an extent living and dying by the three-point ball.
And, I mean, Rick Pitino is a Hall of Fame coach. He's 71 years old. Still the same things going on, the same basic things, but he has been a coach that can move with the times. I still think they've got a shot to be competitive. He's normally better in his second year with a particular program than his first.
Certainly agree. Williams the second gets it into Will Cheddar. Now back to Terrence Williams. Terrence Williams driving the lane, up with the left hand, swatted away by Joel Soriano.
Whew. Soriano's having a good game. 15 points, those 3 and 1s, 9 rebounds. Big block on Terrence Williams.
McDaniel inbounding from the baseline, gets it into Damari Burnett on a bounce. Burnett resets left wing. Soriano hedges a screen from Will Cheddar. Burnett back to Cheddar. Now another screen. Burnett tripped up as he went downhill. Brady Dunlap going to check in for the Red Storm. That's his first appearance for the day. Conway will exit. Dunlap, 3-star freshman, initially committed to Notre Dame for decommitting for Pitino and the Red Storm. 63-46. McDaniel to inbound. Lobs it up to Will Cheddar, top of the key, and McDaniel quickly gets the ball, working against Jenkins. Cheddar going to screen. McDaniel, a lot of dribbling, trap works, but it'll stay with Michigan as it came off either Soriano or Jenkins.
And there's that trap coming in, and I want to talk about Dunlap being 6'7". A lot of St. John's peripheral players are more guard size, 6'3", 6'4", and with Dennis Jenkins in foul trouble, along with Simeon Wilcher, it makes sense to throw out Dunlap, who's got a bit more length, especially with what Terrence Williams has been able to do on offense and defense.
Good point there. Inbound to Doug McDaniel. Daniel searching for something, gets it into Cheddar. He draws a foul. Goes straight up at the freshman. And Cheddar will go to the stripe.
And he sure looks like a freshman. Looking at Dunlap, he's a young-looking player, very thin, gets tied up with Cheddar, who's a big dude. In his third year in college, a redshirt sophomore. Cheddar maybe, you take the foul there, but try and pound it inside. He's against a smaller player.
Cheddar knocks down the first freebie. Dunlap, 6'7", has room to put a little more muscle onto his frame across his college years. Cheddar, second free throw rattles out, so it stays 64-46. 12:30 left here in the second half. Jenkins over to Ledlum. Now working on a Soriano screen. Cheddar hedges. Dunlap now on the left wing. Into the corner, Ledlum. Drops it off to Soriano, posting up. Will Cheddar on the block. And foul on the floor on Cheddar.
Cheddar's third foul. The fouls have kind of been consolidated for both teams. 2 players with 3 fouls for St. John's. Kamwa and Cheddar with 3 fouls for the Wolverines.
Cheddar and Kamwa, 2/3 of really Michigan's big man rotation with Terrace Reed Jr. Midi off the inbound. It's long for Jenkins. McDaniel hauls in the air ball. McDaniel driving left, draws the foul, and the floater dropped, but the foul is on the floor.
Oh. Daniel's been hot tonight, just working inside. I've been very impressed. I've talked about him enough, but I've been very impressed with McDaniel in this game.
It's been an impressive start to the season for Doug McDaniel.
Yeah, I mean, going against a guy like, going against a guy like Dingle, a senior, reigning Ivy League Player of the Year from Penn. You said he missed that exhibition game that St. John's lost. He's a very important player to them, and he's just not. McDaniel's just not afraid to go up against him and take what he thinks is his. The foul was on the floor, even though McDaniel put the floater in. Michigan, 12 minutes left, up 18. They just got to salt this game away.
18-point lead.
And we're here at Madison Square Garden. Obviously, it's a really cool environment. Michigan has won their last 10 games at MSG, 25-11 overall. This series against St. John's dates back to 1965, which actually was MSG3, a building constructed in the early 1920s. This building that we're in is still the oldest arena in the NBA. Nothing older than 1990. Target Center was constructed at that point. 68 is when this building was built, with a few remodels in the 90s and in 2010. Michigan won that game, or lost that game, 75-74 when they were number 1. At neutral sites, they are 0-3 against St. John's. Last win was in December 11th, 1996. Number 5 Michigan won 76-61 at Nassau Coliseum. Last matchup in 2000, UM lost to St. John's 83-97. And this building at Madison Square Garden, there has been a building called Madison Square Garden since, I think, the 1890s. And that original building was actually at Madison Square, which is a bit further away than where we are now. As someone who's not from New York, seeing that this place was called Madison Square Garden, I was looking for Madison Square and was surprised to see it was a couple blocks away. But that's the story behind MSG. It's obviously a historic building. You look up in the rafters, Walt Frazier, Dick Burnett, Earl Monroe, Willis Reed, Dave DeBuscher. A lot of those guys played in this building specifically. You can't really say that for legends across the NBA. even the Palace that I've been to a few times before it was demolished. Most of the legendary Pistons only played a few seasons there, but the Garden's been around Patrick Ewing's whole run, Carmelo Anthony's whole time that he was here with the Knicks. There's a reason it's so beloved. Concerts and other events notwithstanding.
Yeah, I saw a banner earlier that I was stunned was up. Harry Styles, 15 days, 15 concerts is permanently hanging here in Madison Square Garden.
That's rafter-worthy in my opinion. That's a tough thing. We're having trouble having one game here. I can't imagine being in New York to do that.
I'd imagine Harry might have a little bit of a bigger budget than WCBN. We'll get
count us out.
We'll get back underway here. 12 minutes left to go. I'm Alex Miller. Alongside me, William Gregory.
Donate to our NIL fund.
Burnett inbounds. Doug McDaniel. Burnett now Kamwa working in the post. Who poked away. Nice play there by Chris Ledlam. Ledlam will slow it down over to Jordan Dingle. Dingle gets a screen from Ledlam. Dingle working right. Stops at the elbow. Looking for someone. Gets it to Soriano, right wing. Soriano now post up. Will Cheddar. Soriano spins toward the block. Help defense comes from Kamwa. Soriano flips through. Can't finish. Another chance is no good. And now McDaniel gets the board. Doug to Terrence Williams. Terrence thought about a three. Didn't pull the trigger. Kamwa, nice pass into Will Cheddar. And Cheddar throws it down with two hands. Olivier Kamwa with a beautiful touch pass from the top of the key.
That's what I'm saying. He's a bigger player than Dunlap.
Dunlap now. McDaniel tried to jump his pass to Dingle. Now over to the freshman Dunlap. Gets a screen from Ledlam over to Dingle. He gets a screen from Soriano. Now flips it to Soriano. Joel Soriano, left wing. Now Jenkins. Not much happening here. Pull-up jumper goes home. Sort of a janky possession. Ball never entered the three-point line until the pull-up jumper was knocked in by Jenkins. McDaniel up to Terrence Williams to beat the press. Now Burnett, corner three. Will Cheddar, all kinds of time. Triple's good. Will Cheddar from downtown. Shot it well last game for the Wolverines. Gets a three here. 69-48.
Don't let him get hot.
Will Cheddar can do some damage from beyond the arc. Tough fadeaway jumper. No good for Dingle. Kamwa boards. Namari Burnett was alone on the other end of the court, but instead the ball to McDaniel. McDaniel crosses over Soriano, and Joel Soriano simply grabs Doug from behind to stop the wide open layup. Doug almost finished anyway. Instead, he'll get two chances from the charity stripe.
And Soriano, what is he, 250 pounds? And Doug worked through that, and he almost got the and one on a deliberate foul. That ball just spun out of the rim. Doug just playing lights out tonight.
McDaniel, 16 points, 5 for 11 from the field, 6 for 6 from the stripe, 6 boards, 6 assists, and a steal. A little bit of everything. I think they're checking. No, maybe they've decided that was a tech on Soriano. Clear path, perhaps. McDaniel knocks down that free throw. And here's another. That one good as well. And now Michigan going to keep the ball, I believe. They're in the bonus as well. 71-48. 10 minutes still left here in the second half. How about it from Michigan?
It's shaping up to be a blowout if things continue how they are.
Inbound to Kamwa. Now McDaniel left wing. McDaniel working on Simeon Wilcher. Terrence Williams, corner triple. It's good. Terrence Williams the second with another from downtown.
Yeah, nothing going right for the Johnnies. Two defenders pursuing Taywell, and they fell into each other and hit the deck.
Terrence Williams showing off that quicker release. The mechanics look good. Knocked another down. Wilcher working on Will Cheddar. Kicks it to Ledlam. Ledlam fakes a three, now spins away. Terrence Williams on him. Tough layup, rattles off. The board, though, is good, up and in for Ejiofor, the Kansas transfer. Didn't see him come in. Zuby Ejiofor got it. There was a loud "Let's Go Blue" chant coming here in the Garden. Namari Burnett, shake and bake, pull up three, no good.
And Burnett has yet to score in the second half. I know that he wanted that bucket. We see Ejiofor enter the game, as well as Traore, two big men who haven't received as much playing time. With St. John's down 24, they just need a spark.
Traore along with Soriano. It's a redshirt sophomore, along with Joel Soriano, one of the only two remaining St. John's players from a year ago. Ejiofor was at Kansas a year ago, only averaged little over a point a game. 74-50 Michigan, 9:05 and ticking left on the clock. Naheem Aline in the game. He has the ball for St. John's. As some of the bench guys entering. Aline played a little in the first half, working to the block, dumps it off, poked away by Burnett, corralled by Traore. Now Aline, step back three, shook Terrace Reed. Three's off the mark. Loose ball corralled by Burnett. Now ahead to Doug McDaniel. McDaniel settles down. Over to Terrence Williams. Another for T-Will. That one's off. Loose ball foul. As Traore ends up falling face-to-face on top of Will Cheddar as they were laying in the paint. And that'll send Cheddar to the stripe. 1-1 as Michigan's in the bonus. 74-50. 8:39 left. One and one, Cheddar. First shot is good. He'll earn the second. Cheddar knocks home that one as well. So in for the Johnnies. Wilcher brings it up. He's got Traore, Ejiofor. Now getting it to Wilcher is Ejiofor. Wilcher working on McDaniel, cutting Traore. Foul on Will Cheddar.
And as this game grinds on, just a lot more fouls, much less fluid than it was in the first half, I think, on both sides.
Perhaps that slower pace has played a little in the Wolverines' favor.
They finally started to pull away.
Maybe a little more what they're comfortable with. St. John's comfortable with that fast pace, and it's been a little choppier, as you mentioned. Free throws back iron for Traore.
12 points in the first half for St. John's over the first 11 and change in the second half.
Trey Jackson comes in for Will Cheddar. Traore puts up the second free throw. That one rattles off as well. The board came off. It was battled up by Trey Jackson. St. John's will keep it. Inbounding is Glenn Taylor Jr. Initially, the ref waved Michigan's way, but seemed pretty evidently off Trey Jackson. Terrence Williams still wondering why there's a little flip there. 76-58, 21 left. Wilcher inbounding.
We're going to see a new Johnny taking the floor. Sadiku Ibeen Ayo. Going to see him for the first time today.
Ibeen Ayo, last year at Iona with Rick Pitino, made his way here to St. John's. Didn't play a ton for the Iona Gales last year, 2.6 points per game. Another missed free throw by St. John's there. Namari Burnett will walk it up for Michigan, working against Ibeen Ayo. Foul there against Ejiofor as Terrace Reed was working from the top of the key.
Still just choppy.
Terrace Reed Jr. will shoot 1 and 1. First one off left. Loaded by Traore. Wiltshire down the court in a hurry. Hesitation. Stays up in the air. Nice finish by Simeon Wiltshire.
And his playing time has been, Wolverines trying to break the press here.
Trey Jackson has it. He'll take it himself and loses it out of bounds. It'll stay with Michigan.
But I was going to say Wiltshire's got his playing time chopped up a bit due to his 3 fouls. But we talked about it. He's a highly rated recruit coming in as a freshman. One of the few non-senior grad transfers that gets minutes on this team. And I think that St. John's will use this opportunity down 24, probably not going to win this game, to put some players on the floor that don't play much, maybe won't play this much this season, and see what they have. Because a basketball team changes throughout the year. Your rotations change. You understand your team a little bit different each passing game. So maybe a lineup still in flux. You want to see which guys can prove themselves and stand above the rest. We've seen Ejiofor, we've seen Traore, Ivy and Io finally getting some burn. And we'll see if Michigan, I mean, they've gone heavy with the starter minutes in this game. We'll see if they start subbing some more guys who don't get as much playing time as well.
76-52 Wolverines as we're at the under 8 media timeout. This has been an impressive showing for the Wolverines. Had some questions to answer coming into the season. In these first 3 games, while it's early in the season, 3 games, but a lot of questions some answers, if they're not locked in, have started appearing. Questions about shooting. Burnett shot it well. Terrence Williams, Will Cheddar, Doug McDaniel. Questions about scoring. McDaniel's been really good off the dribble. And I think Doug McDaniel's been, as you keep mentioning, just an absolute key to this team early on in the season.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just captivated by the dance team. There's like...
It's a massive dance team.
Yeah, there's like 25 people on the court. And it's pretty good dancing, I have to say. I don't know. I'm just surprised. I don't know. It's a blowout, man. Been on the end of too many of these.
It's a big squad out there. The St. John's student section on the baseline, both sides of the court, has cleared out a little bit here. It's got to be cool for a St. John's student to just pop into Madison Square Garden for your team's games.
Yeah, but then also, I mean, having us having taken the commute to Long Island now 3 times one-way trips, I could see why they'd want to leave early and get back on the train home.
It's not as convenient as our place to the Chrysler Center, our places.
And I have to imagine that maybe the student base could be, well, it's a double-edged sword. You got to go all the way to the Garden for these home games, but it's such a cool spot to be.
Yeah.
Although there is a certain mystique about a small college gym, I think.
Yeah.
Carneseco only seats about 5,000.
Yeah.
I've been at TD Arena in Charleston, which is a similar-sized arena. There's a certain atmosphere.
No, there is.
When everybody's just kind of on top of you. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, the players probably think it's cool.
I really like Chrysler's Arena. I love seeing games up there. As Michigan inbounds, tried to get it into Trey Jackson. Traore tipped it away.
And we keep talking about how this game's stopping and starting. Neither team can keep it going for a while. No extended rallies in this second half.
Michigan has starters minus Kamwa. Trey Jackson playing with 4 fouls in his place. Burnett gets it into Jackson. Now McDaniel, top of the key at half court. McDaniel waves off a screen from Trey Jackson. Now gets one from Terrace Reed Jr. Working on the freshman Wiltshire. McDaniel breaks him with a hezzy and finished the floater. Took a shot. Doug McDaniel's down. Tough finish, so 4 on 5 as St. John's goes the other way. Ejiofor under the basket. Rattles it home. 78-54 Michigan. McDaniel back up and at it. Terrence Williams has it for Michigan. Now Namari Burnett at the St. John's logo. Burnett driving to his left. Pump fake. Looking for something. And they'll say he walked. Looked like the pivot foot came up.
I guess Doug's staying out there. It looked like Michigan was playing 4-on-5 for a while, but I think he's going to get subbed out for Kamwa. We'll see. No, it's Trey Jackson.
So Kamwa will come in and grab Trey Jackson. Michigan back to their starters as they lead 78-54 with around 7 and ticking now left in the second half. Ibeen Ayo has it. Pull up from around the elbow. That one's short. Wilcher runs down the rebound. Double teamed. Now makes its way over to Aline. Pull up from the lane. That one's short. Terrace Reed with the board. Almost loses it, but keeps it inbounds. Now Kamwa to McDaniel. Michigan content to play slow. They've got quite the lead here to work with. 6:30 left here in the second. McDaniel going to get a screen from Terrace Reed Jr. Spins away from it. Reed now sets up again. McDaniel doesn't use the screen. That one's swatted away by Zuby Ejiofor.
McDaniel's fast, but Ejiofor, great recovery on that play to make that block.
Really nice pick and roll defense from the St. John's backup big. McDaniel now looking to inbound. Lobs it up to Terrence Williams around a little bit off the right elbow. Williams, tough fadeaway. Looked like he's trying to draw a foul to get the shot clock. Doesn't go. Terrace Reed Jr., nice board, and Amari Burnett will settle it back to McDaniel. Another 20 seconds to go here. Now 10 on the shot clock, but let some time go. Kamwa down to Terrace Reed Jr. Foul. I think they're going to get Ejiofor for that one.
And they're doubling Reed down low, which is surprising. He hasn't been the one that's been hurting them. It's been the Wolverines' perimeter shooting.
Maybe they're just content to hack a Terrace, if you will. We're in the single bonus. Terrace Reed Jr. has a lot left to prove with the charity stripe. Looks a little more comfortable this year. That one rattles off, but the shooting mechanics look sound. Michigan's let him try a three a couple times this season in game. But see if he can. So Michigan in the double bonus. So Terrace will get another one, and that one off as well. 78-54, under 6 left here, second half. Thank you to all those still sticking with us on WCBN Sports. Wilcher showing off the handle into the lane. Try to dump it off for Ejiofor. Pass was a little wide. Terrence Williams, the second, ends up with it. Doug McDaniel settles it around the logo. And takes some time here. Nothing to rush. Kamwa handoff. Burnett uses a Terrace Reed screen. Into the corner, Terrence Williams, the second, uses a pump fake. It's baseline, taken away from him by Ejiofor. Nice defense from Zuby Ejiofor. Traore tries a three. That one's good for Drissa Traore.
New York native, not a type of guy you'd expect to be shooting a three, lets it fly.
The thing I've been noting is a couple players both ways have used the NBA darker three-point line as opposed to the college one. Might just be what they're seeing as they look down. That one from Traore is from NBA range. McDaniel working on a lean. Steps back for a three. Tough shot. It's good. Doug McDaniel. My goodness. That is a tough shot right there. Off the dribble. Nothing but the bottom of the net.
You know, what have we been saying all game? 23 for McDaniel to lead all scorers.
81-57 Michigan. Wilcher looking. Aline loses the dribble, drops it off. Ejiofor foul committed, I believe, by Namari Burnett. Doug McDaniel going to have a chat with head coach Phil Martelli. Will Cheddar will come grab Terrace Reed Jr. And George Washington III will grab Doug. GW3 hasn't played a ton today, really. It's been a pretty short rotation, 7-man really for Michigan. Little George Washington III sprinkled in. What a performance today, though, by Michigan. 81-57, 4:24 on the clock. Free throw up. And the first one is good for Ejiofor. He'll earn the second for the 1-and-1.
Free Jim Harbaugh are the chants echoing down at Madison Square Garden.
Trying to hear it. Pretty loud in here.
And I mean, I'm looking at some people behind the Michigan bench that are in suits or in Michigan gear, and they're joining in as well in the cheer.
Ejiofor got the second of the free throws to go, 81-59. Terrence Williams the second gets it, tried to get it in, couldn't, off the hands of Will Cheddar. And Doug McDaniel right after that from Martelli, seen enough. It sends Doug right back in. GW3 got on the court for not much more than maybe 3 seconds.
You know, we saw Washington crossing the Delaware, the painting at the Met yesterday. I don't know if we're getting that kind of performance from George Washington III.
Triple try there. Oh, on the follow, Traore. Nice finish there. Caught the board and finished on the way down. Inbound into Kamwa. Foul committed by Traore.
And he's been active. I mean, he's picked up those 2 fouls, but the 3, the dunk on the follow, I think that he's acquitted himself well in kind of a capitulation on the Johnny's part, sending in a lot of players who have not played much of this game. Also, Cruz Davis coming in, another Iona transfer for Rick Pitino.
Davis appeared briefly in the first half. Kamwa misses the front end of the double bonus 2 free throws. Michigan lead at 20, 81-61. About 4 minutes left to play here at Madison Square Garden. Thank you to all those of you still with us on WCBN Sports. Alex Miller alongside me, William Gregory. Here comes Cruz Davis. Over to Ejiofor. Back to Davis. Davis working on Olivier Kamwa. Shakes him. Couldn't get a shot off. Traore pass is kicked by Doug McDaniel.
Under 4 media timeout. St. John's losing by 20, only shooting 37% from the field, 30% from 3 overall. This game looked like it was going to be a barn burner in the first 10 minutes. Both teams just trading blows from the three-point line. Michigan pulled away to go up 10 by the half, and they really haven't looked back at all from what we've seen. And Amari Burnett hasn't even scored in the second half. A really unexpected outcome in this game in many facets. Hasn't really been predictable. What is predictable is that Michigan will win this game and improve to 3-0. Probably pick up some more AP poll votes. And the tenor of this program has changed a lot in the first 3 games of this season compared to the apathy that a lot of people felt, I think, at the end of last year.
Michigan predicted to finish 11th in the conference.
Just want to shout out Jadakiss on the sideline.
New York legend Jadakiss appeared on the Jumbotron. But back to Michigan, I mean, this is a team that I think a lot of people nationally was counting out going this season. Struggled at times last year. Lost Hunter Dickinson. And I think there was a national perception that that was going to really hurt this team.
But in a lot of ways, it's opened everything up.
Yep.
Michigan's able to play faster, and we saw that towards the end of the year, or when it was just Terrace Reed. Yeah, you just pointed it, Alex. The court is filled. There's like 50 people, cheerleading squad from the Johnnies. Their mascot running around, who I thought it was funny that was in the national anthem lines with his hand over his heart. But, you know, everybody, I think his name's Stormy, if I can see the back of his jersey. He's throwing T-shirts for the remaining faithful. People are doing backflips. What is going on?
A lot going on here. Got to put on a show at Madison Square Garden, but it has been quite a good start for this Michigan team, and you just started talking about it. With Dickinson gone, it's been a Michigan team that has played faster, has not looked to post up as much, and that was something I was really hoping for. I was kind of, a lot of respect goes out to Hunter Dickinson for what he did for this Michigan program. Had a lot of big moments in the maize and blue, but I was really excited to see what this team could look like without him. With Terrace Reed, such a defensive presence at center, move the ball a little more. Play a little faster, shoot a little more. So far, so good to begin the season. 81-61.
I'll tell you what, we got to find some of those towels after the game that everyone's waving around. I want one.
The red St. John's towels in the student section.
It's the highlight of the game for them.
Traore now over to Cruz Davis as we get going. Ejiofor's pass is wild. Looked like it hit either Rick Pitino or the assistant next to him. I think Rick was able to dodge that one. But a turnover for the Johnnies, 81-61, 3:33 on the game clock. Terrence Williams tried to get it in. Pass is kicked away by Idrissa Traore. Terrence Williams the second, looking to inbound. Bounce pass into Kamwa. Kamwa tried to drop it off to Doug McDaniel. But a nice play there by Ibe Nayo to knock it away. But again, Michigan keeps it. Choppier game here. Stop and start. Luke Cheddar, Doug McDaniel, Olivier Kamwa, Amari Burnett, and Terrence Williams the second inbounding for the Maize and Blue. Gets it into Burnett, back over to Terrence. Terrence ahead to Doug McDaniel. McDaniel will settle it.
Good press break.
Textbook. Will Cheddar flips it to Kamwa. McDaniel runs around a couple off-ball screens. Pull up three off the handoff from Kamwa, and he buries it. Doug McDaniel.
We thought Burnett was having the Garden game, but it's Doug.
Yeah. Mari Burnett with a Madison Square Garden half, but Doug McDaniel all night long. And giving the Johnnies fits. 84-61. Amari Burnett has it. Over to Kamwa. Kamwa handoff to McDaniel. Another pull-up triple. Rattles off.
Heat check. Almost went in.
It's a good contest there from St. John's, but
from NBA range, too.
Doug almost got that one to go. Pull-up gun for Aleem is good. $84-64 now. Back to 20. The deficit for St. John's. Inbound to McDaniel. Spins around Cruz Davis. Ahead to Amari Burnett. And he can't finish. Good contest there by Zuby Ejiofor. Burnett was looking for a whistle. Nothing coming. Aleem breaking down Terrence Williams. Out to Cruz Davis. Got Doug in the air. Now floats in the lane. Offhand. Can't finish. Gets his own board. Swatted away from behind by Terrence Williams. It's off Terrence. He'll stay with St. John's. And George Washington the third will come in for Amari Burnett. What a tale of two halves for Burnett. 21 in the first, nothing since, but still, you'll take that spark scoring from him. Michigan forgot about Naheem Aleem on the inbound, just left him alone in the corner, knocks down another triple. Aleem last year won a national championship at UConn. Now at St. John's. George Washington the third. Hesitation. Nice pass to Kamwa. He finishes. Good assist by the freshman, George Washington the third. Dunlop in. Drops it off to Ejiofor. Ejiofor working on Kamwa. Loses it. Picked up. Fade away by Aleem. Lost Doug McDaniel. Couldn't get it. Kamwa boarded. Knocked away with a foul by Traore. And he'll shoot a pair.
And I have to say, Kamwa is a fantastic player, but it seems like the little things in this game have just kind of slipped him by. Some ticky-tack fouls, not securing rebounds like he did just there, some head-scratching passes, the pass behind his back to McDaniel that almost resulted in a turnover. I think that he's still got some ways to go. He's an exciting player, but for him to be a complete player, a little bit more development for the Tennessee transfer needed, I think.
Kamwa misses the first free throw and certainly takes some risks as a passer, but he did have that mistake in the behind the back, but he also had a couple really nice assists.
Well, yeah, like you take the good
right,
with the bad.
Right, you take the good with the bad.
But there are some moments that need to be shored up with his game, I think.
No, I agree with you. I think his passing is something that's been really impressive to me early, and it's been a new look for Michigan, especially out of the high post and the ability to get the ball up ahead and transition quickly. I mean, he had a really beautiful baseball pass the other day. Michigan brings on Yo-Yo Yusuf Kayat and Jackson Silvala as well. We'll grab Kamala after the free throw. And Harrison Hochberg, the preferred walk-on freshman, in as well.
And Jackson Silvala from New Canaan, Connecticut. Hochberg from New York himself.
Back in their roots. Michigan with those two in enters a 2-3 zone. Boarded by Dunlap off a missed three. Back out to Aleem. Another triple try off as well. Cruz Davis, another board for St. John's. Aleem drives past Silvala. Drops it off to Ejiofor. Can't finish. Foul on Yusuf Kayat.
I thought that was good defense by Kayat, but obviously St. John's working against a smaller unit that Michigan's rolling out, the guys who don't get as much play time. Seen a little bit more play time in the first two games, but even with some of the bench guys out for St. John's, you'd expect them to have an advantage over the Wolverines on the floor right now.
Cooper Smith in as well for Michigan. First free throw is good for Ejiofor. Under a minute left here at Madison Square Garden. 87-68. Team from Ann Arbor has come into New York.
They're on track for their biggest win ever against St. John's. Previously, 76-61 win I mentioned before.
Free throw missed, boarded by Kayat. He'll bring it up himself. And a reset to George Washington. George Washington the third. Up to Silvala, top of the key. Kayat cut to the open middle, and Yusuf Kayat gets a bunny and finishes it. Nice cut there by Yusuf Kayat. Dunlop buries a tough three over George Washington the third. Inbound to Kayat, ahead to Cooper Smith. And he's fouled. 89-71, under 30 seconds now.
I think it was a travel, not a foul.
Yeah, you're right. That'll go to St. John's.
I mean, everything else has been working for the Wolverines tonight, so why not wipe a travel off the board?
Corner try for Ejiofor from three. Rattles out. Traore the board, followed by Silvala. He'll go to the stripe. 89-71, 20.7 left here on the game clock. William, we're winding down here, but this has been an impressive performance for Michigan, through and through.
Yeah, really not a lot of downsides. I think Doug McDaniel bursting out throughout the whole game, Burnett's first half. Good spark play by Terrence Williams, hitting 2 threes. Cheddar, some nice burn off the bench. Just a good overall win, and Michigan treating the Johnnies like they have their other non-conference opponents so far this year.
Michigan looks ahead. They have the Battle of Atlantis. Then it'll go to Eugene, Oregon. Eastern Michigan, and then Jumpman Invitational in Charlotte versus Florida. Michigan trying to break this press. Coop Smith got a hustle, loses it. Here comes Dunlop, lob to Cruz Davis. Had a nice pass from Dunlop, but Cruz Davis had a chance to throw down an oop, couldn't do it. 8.4 left here, Madison Square Garden. Coop Smith looking to inbound. And a 5-second turnover. That's Michigan's first of those of the game, which goes to show how well they've done beating this St. John's press today. Pass is tipped by Kayat on the inbound. Inbound there, Aleem will try a three. Aleem's three rattles off. Ejiofor's putback doesn't go. Clock expires. This ball game is over. 89-73. The Michigan Wolverines come to New York, the mecca of the basketball world in many senses, and win in dominant fashion. This game was not close for the latter half of this second half.
16-point win for Michigan, biggest in the series against St. John. Previous was a 15-point win in 1997. That was the last time the Wolverines beat the St. John's Red Storm. They extend their winning streak at Madison Square Garden to 11 games. Big-time play in New York City. Past 3 games they've involved in here have been blowouts, although they were on the losing end of one of them to Frankie Collins' Arizona State Sun Devils in the Legends Classic in Brooklyn. They beat Pitt by about 30 points in the first one of that tournament. We were able to cover that, Kelin Flynn and I, who covered the first half for WCBN. But a surprising big win for Michigan, I think. Vegas thought the Johnnies were going to win this game by more than 2 points, but the Wolverines show that the non-conference games so far haven't been a fluke.
Absolutely. Came in here and did what they had to do. Shot the ball well. Defense was good, particularly in the second half. And the other thing is there's still things to clean up and improve on. There's things that have been done well in other games that Michigan had issues with a little bit today. I mean, Terrace Reed Jr. was pretty quiet. St. John's had a lot of offensive rebounds, but overall a lot to love, really, about this win for Michigan. William, any closing thoughts as we wrap this one up here?
No, I mean, just a complete win for Michigan. I don't know if I expected this at all. It just was so dominant in nearly every facet. 3-0 will receive more votes in the NCAA tournament. The season's off to a great start for the Wolverines.
Yes, indeed it is. And with that, for our first half crew, Kelin Flynn, KG Foley, and for my partner, William Gregory, from Madison Square Garden, we'll leave you with a good night and a glow blue. Alex Miller out. This was a good one. Thank you for tuning in, folks.
Oh, yeah.